This is the thing that I didn't do that I wish I would have done. I didn't record anything. I didn't create any processes. I didn't record any of the things that I did in the beginning. I just went and did it. For example, let's say that I had a client and I lost the client, and then a couple months later, I went to call the client back and I was gonna try and reactivate them, try and get them to re-rent my site. What I would do in the beginning is I would just go and do it. It needs to be done. I'll just go do it. Now what I do, and this has been freaking brilliant, it saved me so much time. Like today, I had a guy that we had a deal with a couple months ago. Something happened, we couldn't do the deal. I come back around to this guy and he's open for a conversation, has a chat. My site's ranking, now it's all organic, I don't have to pay for ads. And today I had a call scheduled to pitch him again. And I was driving to the office and I'm like, I need to call that guy. And I'm like, Nope. Here's what I'm gonna do instead. I waited till I got to the office. I grabbed Dylan, who's my new setter/sales guy. And I said, Dylan, sit your ass in that chair right there because I'm moving him into a different role, the closer role. He's gonna be training from setter to closer. As I said, sit your ass in that chair. And I told him the situation. I turned on the camera and I pushed record. I said, all right, here's what we're doing. This is a client. Here's a scenario. They canceled, whatever. It was a bad situation. Now we're getting leads. And so this is what I want you to do as this position. And that position that he's moving into is called property manager in my company. I said, as a property manager, if I tell you that we have a property we need to rent out, let's call it St. George Handyman, I need you, before you go chasing anything, I want you to go look at the CRM that we're using, the Trello board or whatever we're using. And I want you to look at the past clients that we've either called or talked to or worked with. And I want you to do this. This is what you're gonna do. And I explained, I said, I've already called him and I kind of teed it up. I sent him a screencast and I said, we don't have to go do the full process because he already understands it. Now it's just a matter of like making sense of the numbers. And so instead of me calling him on the way to the office, which would have probably saved me a little bit of time, I waited, I brought him in, he sat there and I turned it on. I did the 15-minute call. I pushed end. I did a title on it, made it private, put it in the vault. And now I have a video so that as soon as I give him a site and I transition him, I say, Dylan, we have Las Vegas Handyman. I need you to go and get a new client. But before you go get a client and you go build a list and you go follow the process, go watch this video. Go try and reactivate one of our old clients. And now I just saved myself hours of work. It's mind-blowing that even today, on the way there, I was like, yeah, but I could just do it really quick. And I was justifying and I'm like, no, Nick, stay disciplined. And it took me an extra 10, 15 minutes. I saved it, put it in its folder, got it all organized, and we got that thing. So one of the things I did not do literally until recently is I wasn't creating a process. It was always, how do we fix it? And then I'm gonna fix it, instead of how do we create a process out of this and document it? So whenever we have an issue, I tell Francesca or I tell Dylan, I say, hey, I need you to solve this problem. And by the way, I don't want you to think about like, hey, just we're gonna fix it this one time because this is gonna be a recurring problem. This is just something we're gonna deal with. I need you to be thinking higher level. I need you to be thinking about how do we, if I move you and I move you up in the company to a higher position and you're overseeing somebody, how do you create a process so you don't have to train that person? You literally sit their ass at the desk, tell them to push play, and there's no questions. That's how I want you to think about it. And so now my whole game is like, I'm thinking, dude, if I had done that from day one, oh my gosh, I would have this freaking library of stuff. Okay, here's how you do this. Here's what you do when this happens. Here's what you do when this happens. But now, as of this year, I'm starting from scratch. So one of the biggest mistakes I made was just going and solving the problem, first of all, myself, which I don't need to do. But then instead of just solving it, I would have gone and created a process, documented that process. If I would have done those two things, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. You guys want to talk about freaking Gerberite? I am a believer. This is right in line with what Mr. Gerber talks about, Mr. Michael Gerber. Create processes and document those processes. I would be so much further ahead right now. Guys, I'm making 7 figures a year on my agency and I'm doing trainings. I'm embarrassed to say that. I hire a new guy, I'm doing trainings. I should not be doing trainings. Stephen Covey, he talks about beginning with the end in mind, right? That's why anyone that gets in my program, the first thing I have them do, I'm like, hey, take a yellow pad, watch this video. Let's go and create our goals. Let's create our roadmap. So you want to do 50K? Let's go create a map. If you want to go to the beach, before you get in the car, let's go create the map, because there's a lot of ways to get to Huntington Beach, but there's only one of the quickest ways. So let's go create the map. Begin with the end in mind. If you guys want to get to 100K, you got to start thinking like somebody that's doing 100K. You got to have these systems and processes in place and you got to document it. I'm telling you guys, I shouldn't be doing this shit. I had crazy success last year with setters and salespeople and all this stuff. and I have none of it documented. None of it. Because I was too busy, too worried about go, 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 go. It took me 15 minutes today, guys. Even if you have a couple clients, but it's just you, every time you do something, how do you turn it into a process? And then how do you document that so you don't have to teach it again? I would have been able to spend 15 minutes driving there, 45 minutes that I spent today. I could have been doing more sales. I could have been doing more content. I could have been refining my program. I could have been doing more things for my clients. But instead, I was doing the same dog shit I was doing last year because I'm an idiot.